Chuba Hubbard says he's not doing anything with Oklahoma State University because of what Mike Gundy has done while fishing. And we got to talk about it after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You got to help me with that corner
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, we got to talk about Mike Gundy, Chuba Hubbard, Amin Ogbongbemiga, Grayson Boomer, and Oklahoma State football as the powder keg is about to erupt. Now, for those of you that aren't on the Twitters and need to be brought up to speed, a photo was taken of Mike Gundy out fishing with his boys wearing an OAN shirt. One America News. This is a very pro-Trump cable news network, which in and of itself is not a bad thing. But then when you take a look at some of the things that they have been putting out as borderline propaganda, factually incorrect, and outright lies, you can understand why some people would kind of find it funny that Mike Gundy is writing for OAN, which among other things has just shown a complete distaste for Black Lives Matter as a movement. Okay, now that picture was funny for some of us, offensive to others, myself being one of those, but it became ratcheted up when Chuba Hubbard dropped on top of a tweet by Kyle Boone that I'm going to put right here in the video. I tell you what's funny is I was flipping through stations. I found, I got to get to that. No, I'm getting ahead of the story. That's Mike Gundy. This is Chuba Hubbard. I will not stand for this. This is completely insensitive to everything going on in society, and it's unacceptable. I will not be doing anything with Oklahoma State until things change, in all caps. He was quickly followed by Amin Ogbongbemiga, who is star linebacker for Oklahoma State, saying, I stand with him. Now, Mike Gundy made his thoughts known in April about OANN when he said, I will tell you what's funny. I was flipping through stations. I found one. I didn't even know what anybody knows about this. It's called OAN. It's One American News, and it's so refreshing. They just report the news. There's no commentary. There's no opinions on this. There's no left. There's no right. They just reported the news, and I've been watching them the last week because they're giving us the news and giving us more information, in my opinion. Some positives are coming out, so that was refreshing. First of all, everything that Mike Gundy said there was not true about OAN. And while some of you are going to go right ahead and dismiss this, there are others of you that are here to actually hear what other people have said about this, like Mike Gundy, like Chuba Hubbard, like Ogbongbemiga. So in doing a little bit of research about OAN, just to present it here, I came across this headline that I want to read to you that was published back in March by OANN.com, which says, President handling emergency well in first term. The emergency being COVID-19. I understand that some of us can have a different opinion about that, but I would think that most people would not agree with that, right? It's also something of a mouthpiece for Trump, and it is his favorite cable news television station, even outside of Fox News, because it only either one picks up something that he said or pushes forward something that it believes he would have said. Now, I think it is news now because Chuba Hubbard and Ogbongbemiga have come out against it, and Grayson Boomer came out and said, LMAO, doesn't shock me at all, never met a human so two-faced. Talking about Gundy, I think, right? And then we get another player come out, AJ Green, who's former Oklahoma State Cowboy and a Jen Thorpe Award semifinalist by fan vote, saying can't stay silent anymore. Call a spade a spade. Now, I continue to see more players jumping into this just as the way that it's gone. But you have to say right now, this is a dumpster fire for Mike Gundy. And what it has done is put the star football players up against the head coach. And Mike Gundy's program is such that there are only a handful of players that he could do without. Chuba Hubbard is one of them. Ogbongbemiga is one of them. And AJ Green is gone now, but he certainly would have been one of them. Whether or not Tylan Wallace or Spencer Sanders jump into this, we will wait and see. But Gundy built his program in large part by basically recruiting guys that he could play after a couple of years. They still needed to be groomed. They still needed to be raised up. They still needed to be made Oklahoma State Cowboys. Now with Chuba Hubbard going into a year in which he is one of the stars of college football, for him to say this and to say that he's not doing anything with Oklahoma State University falls in line with Texas, what's going down at Texas with Josh Thompson, Brendan Eagles, and Caden Stern saying we're not going to participate in hosting recruits and donor-related events until we get our recommendations considered by the university and we get some real change there. Among the things that they want a more inclusive society and student body, one that acknowledges the presence of its black athletes. They're only 5% of the student body. Now, I would wonder to see what that looks like at Oklahoma State, because having spent a couple of years there pursuing my PhD, I could tell you there aren't a whole lot of black folks on campus, and the black folks who are on campus, for the most part, are athletes. Many of them play football, and we know how much Oklahoma State football means in Stillwater. How Mike Gundy responds to this is going to be interesting. How the Oklahoma State University brass respond to this is also going to be interesting, because you'll remember Mike Gundy was the guy in April saying, we need to get the kids back on campus to get money flowing through the state. Never mind that many of the kids are going to be in harm's way as soon as you get them back to campus. As we found out, many of them have tested positive for COVID-19. Ogbong Bamiga among them, along with Malcolm Rodriguez. So Chuba Hubbard versus Mike Gundy is the headline. But underneath all of this, apparently has been something brewing for some time. Now, I tend to look at this right away and say Mike Gundy's got his shirt off once again. The emperor has no clothes. But it's becoming a little bit more than that with each player jumping in. And I, for one, am interested to see how far this goes, because I'm a great student of social justice and I'm a student of black history. So what I see from these kids is not unlike what I've seen across the country, but it's also harkening back to what Howard Bryant called the heritage, in which black athletes are pushed to the forefront because they need to be to lead social change, because sports are one of the two things that matter most in this country, right? How you have served, if you have served in our U.S. military, is also its distinguishing factor, right? But when you look at social justice and how the civil rights movement was pushed, it needed athletes. It needed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It needed Jim Brown. It needed Muhammad Ali. It needed Tommy Smith and John Carlos. And it's continued to need those things. It needed Jake Gaithers playing against Tampa in 1967. It needed Eddie Robinson pushing forward Shaq Harris as a guy that could be the first major black quarterback in college football, or excuse me, in the NFL. It needed the AFL to draft Buck Buchanan, #1 overall out of Grambling. It needed Bullet Bob Hayes to come out of FAMU to win a gold medal in the Tokyo Olympics, and then set a rookie record at the time for 12 receptions and 46 catches for over 1,000 yards as a rookie, become a Pro Bowler, become an All-Pro. It needed those things. I think that Chuba Hubbard and Ogbong Bamiga are picking up that heritage right now, and Mike Gundy is either going to change, not unlike Dabo Swinney, has kind of had a quarter turn in attending a Black Lives Matter rally with a mask on, or we're going to see this come to a head. And what we know about Mike Gundy from the past is that he has been hard-headed and he has been stubborn about what he believes. I wonder if that will go to the 2,000-yard rusher and the leading tackler on his football teams. I'm going to keep paying attention to this story. Hopefully you are interested as well. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.